love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods are good for you.
Welcome to Storytime Cooks, where we learn about food through books. Today we're going to be reading Gus Was a Friendly Ghost by Jane Thayer. This was one of my children's favorite stories when they were young, and I think it's fun for us to think about that ghosts can be friendly. There was a friendly ghost by the name of Gus. He lived in an old house in the country with apple trees and lilacs in the yard. Mr. and Mrs. Scott and their twins, Susie and Sammy, lived there too in the summertime. The old house had an attic, and you can see Gus up in the attic. That's where Gus lived. Gus liked to rattle his chains. The Scotts didn't believe in ghosts, so they didn't believe in Gus. Still, when they heard the rattles and the clanks, they liked to say to their friends, "We have a ghost." The Scotts made Gus feel welcome in the old house, so Gus liked them. He especially liked Mrs. Scott because she was really pretty. He wanted to please them, so he rattled and clanked up in the attic, the way ghosts are supposed to. "We've got a ghost," said the Scotts proudly, though they really didn't believe in ghosts. Then autumn came, and Mr. and Mrs. Scott and their children went back to their other home. No need to rattle and clank now. Gus had nothing to do but to sit around. That would be pretty boring, wouldn't it? If he didn't have anything to do but just sit around. One day he was so lonely sitting around by himself that he went for a walk, and he met a mouse. "How are you?" said Gus. And the mouse said he was freezing, because remember, in the autumn, it gets cooler, doesn't it? It gets cold outside. "Come and spend the winter in my house," said Gus. "Are people there?" said Mouse. "I do hate people." "Me, not now," said Gus. "I'm not really excited about having a mouse live in my house either." The mouse scurried about the house. It seemed like a good place to spend the winter. "Let's build a fire in the fireplace," said Mouse with chattering teeth. "I'll get a match." He scurried to the kitchen, but the Scotts had hidden all the matches just because of mice. They didn't want anybody to make a fire in their fireplace. "Bother," cried Mouse. Gus had never built a fire because ghosts never get cold, but he wanted Mouse to be happy. So he said some ghostly words, and guess what? A fire came into the fireplace. Now Mouse said he was hungry, so Gus said they would look in the cabinets. And they looked in the cabinets, and guess what? The Scotts, since they weren't going to be there for a long time, had cleaned out their cabinets too. Poor Gus, he wanted his mouse friend to be happy. So he asked Mouse what his favorite thing to eat was. What do you think mice might like to eat? Do you think they might like cheese? Gus said, "I think I could make you some cheese foods." So they made cheese sandwiches, and they sat beside the fire and got all nice and warm. Then they decided they would go to bed. "You pick your room," said Gus. "That bed will feel good," said Mouse. He scurried from the front bedroom to the back bedroom, but Mrs. Scott had put newspapers all over the beds just because of mice. "I do hate newspaper," he said. He scurried to the back of the bedroom and decided he would curl up in a drawer, but she had put mothballs in the drawer. That wouldn't smell very good at all. So he decided that he would go to the attic up with Gus and live up there. Gus washed the dishes. He was so excited to have a friend in the house. When Mouse woke up, he said, "We're going to have some food for dinner." And Gus is actually looking at a cookbook. That's what we use when we need to make food. We use cookbooks to learn how to cook. So Gus, because Mouse liked 3 meals a day, decided he better learn to cook. He put on an apron, and I've got my apron on. Sometimes we wear aprons to keep our clothes clean when we cook. And he pulled out all the food that he needed to use to cook. And he made all of Mouse's cheese favorites. He made macaroni and cheese, and I bet some of you like macaroni and cheese. That's a delicious cheese food. And he made cheesecake and cheese soup and cheese sauces and cheese biscuits and popcorn with cheese and cheese pie, all these yummy cheese foods. By the time Mouse had eaten all those foods, he had grown quite plump because he wasn't getting a lot of exercise. He was just sitting beside the fire and eating all that delicious food. Well, before long, spring came again, and guess what? The Scott family came back to their wonderful home. And when they came in, they discovered that the mouse had been there. And the mouse decided he didn't like that house so much with people there. He liked it when it was just him and Gus by themselves. So he decided he would try to scare the family away. And when they were playing games, he would run across the attic and up the walls and make little pitter-patter noises. "We've got a mouse," said Mr. Scott. But the Scotts weren't scared away. And Gus said, "Mouse, I really want you to be kind to the Scott family because they're my friends. I don't want you to scare them away." But the mouse, he wasn't very nice. He chewed up some of their food. He made noises when they were asleep. You could hear him up above when they were trying to rest. So the Scotts got a little frustrated, and they decided they would put out a mouse trap. Sometimes in the fall of the year when mice come in our houses, we have to put out mouse traps. But Gus liked his friend the mouse, and he tried to warn him. So he put all these signs around the house by the mouse trap to remind the mouse not to eat the cheese that the mouse really wanted to eat that was on the mouse trap. They said, "Danger, beware, look out." He tried to warn his friends. And then one day, Mouse took it a little bit too far. He scared Mrs. Scott in the kitchen, and she screamed. Well, that upset Gus because he thought, remember, Mrs. Scott was really pretty, and he liked her. He didn't want her to be scared. So Gus gave Mouse a talking to. Sometimes when we get in trouble, our parents have to talk to us, don't they? They have to tell us what we can do, what we can't do. So Gus was telling his friend the mouse, "Do not scare my friend Mrs. Scott anymore. We've just had enough." And poor little mouse, I think he got the message. He realized that if he wanted to continue to live in the house with Gus, he might better shape up. So Gus told the mouse, "No more running in the house. If you want to run out, if you want to run, where do we need to run? Outside." Some of our moms might have told us that too. If we're going to run outside. And Gus told Mouse, "No more eating the Scots food. If you want to eat something, go out into the garden and eat some flower seeds." So finally Gus realized that that's probably what he needed to do. And before long, it was fall again, and guess what? The Scots left, and Gus and his mouse friend got to live in the house by themselves again and enjoy playing games and sitting by the fireplace and eating all that delicious cheese food. And I think they probably all lived happily ever after. So today, because we enjoyed Gus so much, and Gus was a friendly ghost, a happy ghost, we're going to make a ghost snack. And this one is a fun one because it's really easy to do. We're just going to take a banana. Remember, we've talked other weeks, if we have fresh fruits and vegetables, we need to wash those before we eat them. So So we're going to wash our banana peel because we really don't know how far away this banana came from and what it's touched and who's touched it. We're going to wash our hands before we start cooking, and then we're just going to slice this banana in half and peel it, and we're going to sit it on a plate. And then we've decorated our ghost with just some little chocolate chips for the eyes and the mouth. I hope you'll enjoy eating your Gus the Friendly Ghost, and we'll have a good day. Come back and join us again as we continue to learn about food through books at Storytime Cooks.
We love food colored green, bell peppers and long string beans, pickles, celery, cucumbers too. All these foods